The Last Teacher. By the end of a narrow alley in a small, quiet town, there was an old house hidden beneath the shade of a mango tree. Every afternoon, sounds of children reading echoed from under its rusty roof. That was Mrs. Tam's house, or as the neighborhood called it, the little school with no name. Mrs. Tam was over 70, with silver hair tied in a neat bun and kind, wrinkled eyes behind thick glasses. She greeted each child with a warm smile. At 4 p.m. sharp, she would open the door, wipe down the blackboard, set up plastic chairs, and wait. Her students had no uniforms, no brand new books. Some came barefoot. Some arrived late after helping their parents sell vegetables or pick scrap. But all of them came with one shared treasure: a thirst to read and write. When a neighbor once asked, "Why keep doing this at your age? You should rest," she just laughed gently and said, "As long as I can write letters and read books, I can still teach. And these little ones, they need it more than I need rest." Very few knew that Mrs. Tam was once the principal of a large primary school in Saigon. She had led hundreds of students and teachers during her prime. But after her husband passed and her children moved far away, she quietly returned to her hometown. She brought little with her, just some books, a chalkboard, and a deep love for teaching. "I don't need much now," she once said. "Teaching is the only thing I've ever known how to do wholeheartedly." And so the little school began, under her porch, on old benches, with chalk-dusted fingers and sunburnt cheeks. She taught them the alphabet, how to write their names, how to read fairy tales and folk stories. She never charged a single coin. When people offered to donate money, she'd smile, shake her head, and say, "Buy the children notebooks instead. That's more than enough for me." One autumn day, Mrs. Tam caught a cold. It worsened quickly, and she had to be hospitalized. The alley felt empty. The children stopped gathering. The blackboard remained untouched. But then, one by one, her students came to visit, holding crumpled letters they had written with shaky hands. "Thank you, teacher. Now I can read street signs for my mom. You taught me to write my name. Now I can sign my own report card. One day I want to be a teacher, just like you." Lying in her hospital bed, Mrs. Tam read every letter. Her hands trembled, her eyes watered, but her lips curled into a proud, quiet smile. A few days later, she returned home. Too weak to teach, she would now sit and listen as the children read aloud to her, stumbling through syllables, mispronouncing words, but glowing with determination. She nodded, corrected them softly, and clapped with each sentence completed. And then one early winter morning, Mrs. Tam passed away in her sleep. There was no announcement, no headline. But the entire neighborhood came to say goodbye: parents, neighbors, and dozens of children she had once taught. They brought wildflowers, notebooks, hand-drawn pictures, and tears. Together, they pooled money and placed a wooden plaque on her gate: "Mrs. Tam's School, where letters took flight." Some people live quietly. They don't seek applause, titles, or recognition. They don't leave behind wealth or monuments. But with love, they leave light in the hearts of others. Mrs. Tam was one of those people. She may have been the last teacher some children would ever know, but to them, she will always be the first person who believed they could learn.